So this is actually, I wanted to do this as a live demo, and there's absolutely no way that I could fit in the time I had. So we actually have this canned video of doing roughly what you want to do. So the whole idea here is that we actually have 6 VMs that are running on a VMFS data store. Before I start the video, I'll kind of lay the groundwork. And you can see right here that they don't have any policies. So we actually have published a handful of scripts out to GitHub. You can go out and use them. You can use them for any storage to any storage. It has nothing to do with NetApp SolidFire. You can use it to storage vMotion anywhere you want. Nothing to do with NetApp SolidFire. It just works. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually move things to a vVol's data store, a storage container array, and apply a policy at the same time. And once that actually moved over, we're actually going to go in and change the policies like I just did on those VMs. So each one of the virtual disks on those VMs have different policies, and that's going to happen on all 6 of those VMs.
So Andy, you've been talking about IOPS and things like that, but policies can be snapshot schedules and...
Yes, we don't actually... I didn't talk about snapshot schedules in the policies here at all. These are rules that you can add to the policies. An awful lot of the policies that were uninteresting to us were the ones that were what tier of storage you're going on to, deduplication, compression,
those type of things, yeah.
And that type of thing. Thin provisioning. So let's go. Here we are. So here, this is actually just showing out the policies aren't set. And so we're going to go in and look at the policies like we just did. And we're going to look at this app server OS policy here. And this is actually going to show us roughly the same thing that we just saw, where we have a policy. And so here's a 10-line script that actually is going to move things from one data store to another and apply policies as they go. And so this thing is going to kick off. And in this case, it's actually going to take some time because VMware has to copy the VM from one place to another. So this is actually data movement done by VMware, not done by the storage system. You can see that the VM is still running, still getting its IOPS, and it's chugging along because VMware is sucking data off one storage container, putting it on, or one data store, putting it on another. And chug, chug, chug along. And here you can actually see, once the first VM is moved over, it actually has the storage policy we just looked at. It's compliant. And this is doing the same thing we just did, which is going to go refresh this and take a look, go find that VM on this VMFS data store. And you can actually see the policies are applied. Same basic thing where all 3 of them have the same policy. The next little script that we look at, this is actually going to go in and do a little bit more demo, show you the rule sets, show that's what it is. So the next one is going to just be another 8-line script, actually, that will go in and change the policy of each virtual disk on these VMs to be the policy that you want. And it applies to all 6 of them at once. VMware doesn't even have this capability yet. You can't go out and select more than one VM at a time and tell it I want to storage vMotion all of these. It's just an option on each individual VM. So these scripts that anybody can go download allow you to actually do automation at scale with a bunch of different VMs. And when we actually put this demo together, we showed it with 6, and then just to show off, we showed it with 200. So it works the same whether it's a handful or not. That was the script. I'm sorry, I was lapping while the script was being shown. Let's see if we can. So this actually sets the policies, policies for each virtual disk. Sorry, separate ones.
No, that's fine.
And the big piece this is actually going to show is we're going to go back by, and that was that was going through very quickly. There was no data movement involved. The policies are going to be changed instantaneously, and when we go look at things on the SolidFire side, they're going to be changed as well. So again, it's just a simple refresh of the UI, and your policies are changed.
What happens if you scale the I/O downward to a level that's below where that volume is chugging right now? Do you just see that the thing starts slowing to a crawl?
Well, the IOPS will drop off, yeah.
But you don't see any effect in sort of the data that's actually being worked.
It depends on what that VM is doing. If you're actually running up against the max limit and you lower the max, that VM's going to slow down. That was what I was mentioning just a few minutes ago, where we have people call support saying my VM is slow. You're running into QoS. Anyway, that was that demo. I had a couple other here, but I kind of explained this already. That if we actually add nodes to a cluster, our total capacity is actually going to go up, and I wasn't going to take up more of your beer drinking time. So I'll simply allow you to see here, and if I hit play on this, and then move up to about here, and I screwed that up. So in this case, we've added nodes, and then we're going to jump back over to the VMware side, and we're going to go to a different, we're going to actually refresh the display, and you can see that the total capacity of the storage container went up without needing to do anything on the VMware side to have that storage capacity shown as higher. And since I've run way over time, this is going to be an extra credit that you can come find me at West Flanders, and I'll show you this. This is actually just a short, it's not short enough, a video of using vRealize Orchestrator with multiple policies applied to the multiple virtual disks in a VM when you orchestrate and deploy it. And so the whole idea that we went in with here was to get rid of the storage admin and having to do chores like creating multiple VMs, applying policies, coming up with different ways of managing them, changing policies as you need on the fly, this type of thing. So I don't know who came up with the shortening the journey, but the whole idea here was to get rid of the storage admin, have as few people involved in the process of deploying VMs in the ways that are usable as possible. And the whole idea is that you end up with simply a Disruptosaurus as your one admin rather than the two Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Disruptosaurus with the long, meaty front arms.
Friendly.
And so I can't claim credit for that either, but if you want Disruptosauruses for your laptops, there they are. And with that, the only thing I have to say is resources that are available. You can follow NetApp the pub. Actually, just following @SolidFire is going to get you far more information, but these are places that you can go find automation and organization resources